Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 40-year-old Maine resident and Army veteran Michael Fournier was seen in the middle of a mob. They were outside the rotunda doors, and Fournier raised his fist in the air. He was chanting, "It's our house." An hour later, Fournier was then seen illegally entering the building. The alarms were blaring at that time, so it was very clear he wasn't allowed to be in there. Fournier entered the Capitol Rotunda. Later, a large group of officers entered that space, and they basically corralled the mob into a corner, or into one section of the room, I should say. It's round, so not a corner, but one section. And then they started moving everyone toward an exit. So Fournier left the rotunda at that point, but he wasn't able to exit the building because the rotunda doors where he entered, by that time they were secured by the police again. So they weren't allowing people out because people were sneaking in whenever they'd open the doors to let people out. So Fournier was seen. He went and sat on a bench that was near the door, and he started talking to another member of the mob who had a painting. And this person had picked up the painting somewhere in the building. This is another January 6th convict who you guys would know of if I mentioned his name. But anyway, Fournier was seen talking with this person, and then he took the painting from him and he walked away with it. Now, unfortunately, the Capitol surveillance cameras couldn't get all of Fournier's movements. They just couldn't track him the entire way. So they lost track of him. They weren't sure where he went or what he did with the painting. And they said to date, they have no idea what happened to the painting. They haven't been able to determine where it went, what happened. But a few minutes later, a few minutes after he walked away with it, Fournier was seen walking back to the rotunda doors, and he no longer had the painting. And Fournier began to exit the building at that point. For some reason, though, he stopped. He turned around. He briefly placed both of his hands on an officer who was guarding the door, and it looked like they were exchanging words, and then Fournier was seen leaving. So at that point, he had been inside the Capitol for approximately 10 minutes. But Fournier remained on the Capitol grounds for another 2 hours, and he was seen just after 5 p.m. He was screaming and cursing at the police. Fournier yelled things like, quote, "This is bullshit, guys. You know it's bullshit. I feel like I'm in a CS chamber back in the Army." And he warned that they, quote unquote, were stealing the process and how officers' votes wouldn't matter in the future. So the police were trying to get everybody off the Capitol grounds at that point. As you know, all the reinforcements had arrived. So they deployed several canisters of tear gas into the crowd. And then Fournier was seen walking away. He was covering his face with a scarf. But then he bent down, he picked up a flagpole off the ground, and he started charging toward the police line with it. So he raised up the flagpole as he was running, and it looked as if he was going to throw it like a javelin at them. But at the last minute, he tripped and fell. So Fournier stood back up, and then he chucked the flagpole at them. Now, luckily, it fell a few feet short of the police. It hit a large Trump sign instead, kind of a metaphor for what's going on in the presidential campaign right now. But anyway, in December of 2021, Fournier's attorney submitted a letter to the FBI, and they admitted in this letter that he entered the Capitol. So on January 22nd of 2024, Fournier was arrested, and he was charged with entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. I don't understand at all why they didn't charge him for throwing that flagpole at the police. They didn't, but they could have. They could, at the minimum, they could have gotten him on civil disorder. Max, they could have gotten him on assault. So I don't know why they dropped the ball on that, but anyway. In May of 2024, Fournier pleaded guilty to 2 of the misdemeanors, so disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds and parading in a Capitol building. So he was looking at up to 1 year in prison for the combined crimes, 10 years of probation, and $10,000 in fines. The prosecutor, though, requested only 6 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $500 in restitution. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg presided over Fournier's case, and when all was said and done, Fournier was sentenced to only 30 days in prison, 1 year of probation, and $500 in restitution. I'm pretty shocked by this, to be honest with you. Boasberg is one of the tougher judges, and he usually gives the prosecutor what they asked for. The only thing I can think is maybe he gave Fournier some grace due to his time in the military. Also, he has no criminal history. I'm still shocked, though. I really am. And unfortunately, this guy is probably going to be out in time for the November election. And because he pleaded to only misdemeanors, he can still vote. So, not good. Not good at all. Anyway, I will let you know if I hear any more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.